Did I show you guys the Druzy? Okay. So these actually, I think that was right where I was at when, did I talk about the Druzy already? The Druzy stones? Okay. It's hard when it's the last one. You know, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm like, didn't I talk about this a lot? Okay, so the Druzy, since I work with silver, the Druzy is done with our glass. It's a glass glitter. You know, I think because I am coming from this area, you're always going to find a really high quality here, you know, and I'm really glad that Ranger supports that too, you know, so we're really keeping this, so the glitter is really done and to a high quality. And when I am working with my, you know, I'm working with my stones, and I was like, oh my gosh, my Druzy stones look exactly like my glitter. I bet I can build a really cool piece, you know, and have it look like a stone. So that's what I started doing with this. So this is actually, I'm going to show you how to build these. This is the leaf. You know, I want to take some found objects and show you guys too. Feathers that just have stamps on them. I heat set the ink, and I just use Ranger ink, stamping, heat set the ink, and then paint on. So resin can go over anything.
The faux Druzy stone, I said this before, but I love it. Susan wrote a book called Resin Alchemy. It made the Amazon bestseller, top 10 bestseller list. She did the faux Druzy stone. The book wasn't even out a week. It went viral on the internet. And so when you look at it, you can see all of these tutorials on how to make the faux Druzy. It's super simple. It's really beautiful. What woman doesn't want to wear glitter and, you know, gorgeousness?
Okay, so this is our plunger. I came out, I was an artist working in the mixed media and art world, and I have the two parts. People at first were so nervous thinking about mixing these exact. Once you get it, you can't lose. Once you get it, it's like riding a bike. There's no worries. So, but because of that, we did come up with this plunger, and really the plunger is such a big seller. You know, I use the plungers in my workspace when I'm doing just a little bit of work, like these Druzys. If I'm like, oh, I have to just mix up one small piece,
or covering your cast
or
pieces.
covering my cast pieces, like I was talking about. I have these sitting around. The cap is beautiful. It just twists right off, and I can you can't put it back on the wrong way. So this, you just set down in here and twist. And I just set it up like this. It sits like this in my workspace. You know, once I can squeeze out what I need, mix it. These are the new cups with Ranger. I really like these because you can't slosh over the sides. The nice thing, when I did start working with these, we were so used to throwing our cups away that I was like, I can't throw this away. So these, alcohol takes resin off, not dry resin. But you know, if you need to clean resin off your surfaces, alcohol, I'll take an alcohol wipe and wipe my stick and use it again. So, you know, really, whether, you know, that's going to be your choice. If it's going to say throw it away, you know, I was like, damn, we're going to lose all those. Okay, so you want to start with resin, and I am going to mix exactly half and half. This one's almost to the end, so it's going to take a little bit longer.
You want to start with the resin. It's a little bit thicker than the hardener, so part A resin and then part B hardener.
Let me see if I have enough. Yeah, you might have to. I'll just mix up a smaller amount. I'm going to mix up a smaller amount this time. Usually I mix a little bit more, but my resin is low. Okay, so I can keep my resin, I can keep it like this for an hour, and then I can come up and mix it. So sometimes I do big batches, and then, you know, I come back in, and I encourage people to do their work and then just leave your piece. It's a 6-hour dry. It can be heated to quicken it, but to me it's like you can get beautiful domes with this work. You can, you know, to me it's just leave it, and all the bubbles are going to come out. Everything's going to be good. And then you just really want to fold this. So I'm just kind of folding it, wiping off the sides, coming back in. And, okay. I mix this for about a minute. You know, it takes me about a minute mixing it. And then I just usually will let it sit for about 5 minutes, you know, and go and finish up, do my things, put my work on. if I'm going to use, if I'm going to pour into a bezel, if I'm going to use my image backs or foil, I showed you guys how ice resin makes paper transparent. Well, if I don't want my paper transparent, which in a bezel, I really don't want my paper transparent, I am going to just kind of sink it into, I'm just ripping it, but you could cut it very carefully. This is just being ripped. Okay, so, you know, I'm gonna cut this to size. That lady has to go. And so what I really wanna do is I want to seal it with my paper sealant here. It's water-based. It takes 5 to 10 minutes to dry again. And here's our paintbrush. There's paintbrushes with the line that are just, to me, I don't need, you know, we're not painting. We don't need really fancy, expensive paintbrushes for this line. So really, you know, there's a pack of 6 that we put the paintbrushes in. Once you put resin on your paintbrush, it's difficult to get off, you know, so we kind of want to use a little bit of the throwaway that aren't expensive. And I'll use the other end of it to kind of tack our piece down. So this takes like five minutes to dry. You want to wait until it's dry before you pour your resin on here. So you can put your own images in there. You can put transparencies. You can put, you know, anything you'd want to. So I'm going to wait for that to dry before I would pour my resin in. If I do, it'll be a little bit cloudy. Okay, so then the next step, I want to show you guys a druzy. If I'm going to make druzys, I've made a couple of them already. The way that I do these is I'm just going to put a little bit of resin in the bottom. You really don't want to fill it up that high at all. There's just a tiny bit in the bottom. And then I'm going to overfill my bezel with, is there a different, yeah, there is a different color. Love this blue, purple. Oh yeah, that's the opals. There's a brown color and a chartreuse. Love these colors. So this, I'm just gonna, and then the pink, or like a rose. Love that color too. I think, you know, for a while I couldn't get enough of white and red and that pink. And now I think I went to France and it's so feminine there, you know, that I came back with, let's do everything pink and blue. So this is it. It's just an overfill like this. I'm gonna wait 6 hours for that to dry, and then, you know, what I do is I take a little bit of ink and my paintbrush and just dirty it up a little bit, because if you look at real druzy, it's not perfect. It's just not perfect. So I dirty it up a little bit. So that's the druzy. And
how did you